My name is Ben Jordan. I'm one of the winemakers involved in making the 2023 Seven Lady Vineyards Meritage.
Chad Hornick. I'm owner of Seven Lady Vineyards, also part of the winemaking team, mostly focusing on the estate wines. The name Seven Lady Vineyards, so I have my business partner, Jeff Ottaviano, and I, between the two of us, we have 5 daughters and then their 2 moms. So we figured we'd pay tribute to them since we're always out of town or working at late hours, working on stuff like this.
So the vintage that shaped this wine was 2023, which was one of the great vintages in Virginia. Not only was it a great growing season, relatively easy to get the vines to do what we needed them to do. It was a great harvest season, so long period of relatively dry weather, relatively cool nights. The season really allowed winemakers to pick when they wanted to pick. Rarely were we pushed by a weather event to pick. So we were able to pick at peak ripeness. So the vineyards actually are spread throughout Virginia. So this is truly a Virginia wine. We have 2 vineyards in the middle Shenandoah Valley, bringing both Merlot and Cabernet Franc. Those sit at the highest elevation, and those are on limestone soils. We have 1 vineyard that is in Loudoun County that is bringing the Petit Verdot. And that is on granitic, mountain soils. And then 1 vineyard in northern Albemarle County that is bringing Merlot, and that has clay and granite in the soils. The style of this wine, this is a Meritage wine, so we are looking for ageability, we're looking for density, we're looking for structure. But when we blended this wine, and the blend was made by myself, Zach Clancy, Chad, and his partner Jeff. And when we were building it, we built based on the different varieties from the different vineyards to use, say, Petit Verdot for structure and depth and base notes, and then use Merlot to bring mouthfeel and to round out the tannins, and then Cabernet Franc for aromatics and depth of flavor. And it was this sort of access to these different growers, these different vineyards, and a really wonderful vintage that allowed us to really layer in complexity, flavor, and density, which is really what you're looking for an ageable Bordeaux-style red wine.
The style in which the wines come out, really, we try to build these wines for the consumer, and like Ben said, for the ageability of them. Really, but also to make sure that people are able to enjoy them right away too. So it's these wines are ready to drink. We do end up decanting that particular vintage, and even the 22 vintage before that at this point, because it really opens it up nice. From our perspective, I think it's really, as Ben kind of alluded to earlier, it's about the balance of the wine and the way the wines have kind of been designed to be structured, right? Like we don't look at it from one perspective. We try to look at it from a bunch of different angles. And when we're doing our component blending and we're getting these wines put together, it takes steps, right? And what ends up happening for us is we're looking to figure out how to design a wine that's powerful, but smooth in the mid palate, and then also have the tannins and the structure on the back end to match the fruit on the front end. And that's what's really been kind of a neat thing in our particular is I'd say almost all of our wines are designed that way, but Meritage you just get to have a lot more fun with, because you get to play with what you're doing with the different varietals and everything else. So it really plays out nicely. This award is truly monumental for Seven Lady Vineyards. I know it means a big deal to Zach Clancy, one of our key winemakers in all this. And so for us, it's pretty interesting, the fact that we have now entered wines in the Governor's Cup for 3 years in a row. And between that time frame, we've achieved 8 gold medals just in that window. But what's even more exciting is our Meritage has performed so well for us. The 22 vintage has won 2 golds in a row now, and in the 23 we entered it this year along with the 22, ends up getting a gold, but now in the Governor's case. So, and that was a tough decision on our part on which wines you enter, right? Because you only get the best 6. And so for us, this is just, we just feel like we're kind of like, the new kids on the block, but we got some senior winemaking going on, and it is absolutely incredible to be in this position at this point in this winery's career.
I hope people take away that Virginia wine continues to improve, continues to mature, and that we can make wines that stand on the world stage.